Welcome to Weddings with Zita. Here's your host and producer, Zita Christian.
Hi everyone. Welcome to the wedding show where you'll be inspired by the experts. My expert tonight is a jeweler. She is a certified gemologist and she's a very good friend. She's Jacki Friedrich of Friedrich Jewelers in Vernon, Connecticut. Jacki, thanks very much for being on the show.
My pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
This is so good. You know, we're going to talk rings tonight. Engagement rings, wedding rings, different metals, stones, all kinds of things. And I want to start by just kind of laying a little bit of groundwork. I know that Friedrich Jewelers has been a family-owned business for over 100 years.
101 this year.
Oh my gosh, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary,
Thank
that's
you very
really
much.
great. So a lot of jewelry stores have been, I don't know if any that have been around that long, but to my mind, what distinguishes your establishment is that you are a gemologist on the premises. What does it mean to be a gemologist? What is a gemologist, and what's the advantage of working with one?
A gemologist is someone who has gone to school through the Gemological Institute of America, taken all the courses in colored stones and diamonds. We learn how to identify the different materials, grade the different stones, what's a nice stone, what's a poor stone. So when you go to a jewelry store, if you're talking to someone who is a gemologist, they can really steer you in the right direction. It's not just about price, it's about the beauty of the stone and the quality of what you're buying.
And you would see things that the average person wouldn't see.
That's right. That's right. It's the education. We can educate our customers.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Educate your customer.
That's
yes.
right.
So I need some education tonight on the 4 C's, because we talk about the 4 C's in diamonds, and I do want to start with that, with engagement rings and diamond being the most popular. So talk with me about the 4 C's. What are they?
The 4 C's are cut, color, clarity, and carat weight.
Okay. So tell me about cut, because we have some show and tell.
Yes, we do.
So first tell me about cut. And about the shape. Talk to me about shapes first, because that gets into cut, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. There are different shapes of diamonds.
Okay, let's look at these beautiful shapes. I'll get them over here.
The most common is the round brilliant, which I don't have a picture of that here because everybody knows what that is. But you have the marquise, the heart, the oval, pear, triangular, the emerald cut, radiant cut, princess cut. And basically what determines the cut of the stone is the diamond itself, the rough diamond. A cutter tries to get the maximum weight out of a stone, and if they think that they can get the maximum weight and have it be round, they'll do that. If they can get maximum weight and have it be marquise, they'll do that. Just depends on the rough diamond itself.
Jacki, tell me one more time, now that I've got this up here, we'll look at 2 columns down. One column down begins, it looks like a shape of a heart.
Yes.
So tell me what the shapes are on that column going down, starting with the heart.
Okay, we have the heart, the pear, the emerald cut, emerald step cut, and the princess cut. So the princess cut is square, it has sharp corners. Emerald cut is rectangular, it has cut corners, which means that you have your stone here and they're actually at an angle.
Right. And the other column of stones?
Is marquise, oval, triangle, or trillion, and the radiant cut.
Beautiful. So you know, some of these I've never seen before.
Round brilliant is the most common, so it really just depends on the taste
that
of
most
the person.
People see, sure. And then, so we have all those pretty shapes. I do want to ask you about what constitutes a good cut. What's a good cut?
A good cut is one where when the light enters the stone, it bounces around and it comes back through the top. And what you're going to see is a lot of flash, and you can actually see different colors, blues, reds, greens, yellows. That constitutes a good cut. The way that they do that is they control the proportions of the stone so that when the light comes in, and we can go to this right
Yes,
now.
Let me show you this. This is you won't be able to read the words on here, but you'll be able to see the 3 images. So Jacki, yeah, tell me more about this and what we're looking at.
Okay, so in the first image, you have a stone that's basically ideal cut. The proportions are perfect so that when the light comes in through the top and the sides, it bounces around, comes back out through the top.
That's this one?
Right here. This is the first one.
Okay, there
Yep.
we go. That's the good one.
Yep. Second one is a stone that's cut very deep, which means that it's a very thick stone. And in that, the light's going to come in through the top, it's going to bounce on the side, and then it's going to go out through the other side. So you
Oh.
don't get the brilliance.
Okay.
And in the third one, it's a stone that's very shallow, not thick enough, and basically the light's going to go in through the top and go right through the bottom.
Oh, all right. So we want the first one where the light's going to come in from the top, bounce around, throw out all those gorgeous colors,
Again through the top.
and then come out.
Comes out through the top,
Beautiful. Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. Okay.
rather than going out the sides. Exactly.
Okay. Now, the next C, color. All right. Tell me about color. And we did a little pre-interview the other day, so I was dismayed, and you'll find out why. Tell me about color.
Color starts at D.
D, grades.
D is colorless, yes, completely colorless.
Okay.
The grades for color. They go from D through Z. When you get down into the Z range, you're talking about something that's going to have a good tint of yellow to it, or gray or brown.
Fortunately, I love yellow and brown, and I look really good in yellow and brown.
Yep.
But the idea was that as you go down the alphabet, the stone
To Z.
to Z
Z.
loses some, yeah, okay, well, that's how it is. Yeah, that's how it is. So are diamonds ever colored, like dyed or something like that? Or
They're not dyed. What they are is treated to change the color. So 10, 15 years ago, teal diamonds were very, very popular. What they did was they started with a diamond that had very good clarity, which we'll be getting to soon, but the color was off. It might be MNOP. It wasn't really saleable. So they irradiate it and they heat treat it, and it turns a beautiful blue.
oh my
A
gosh.
nice teal blue. It's a permanent color unless a jeweler's torch heats it up too hot, and then it can change it a little bit. So if you have a treated stone, and your jeweler should always tell you if it's treated, if you take it to somebody else, say this is a treated stone, they know they have to handle it with care.
Oh, that's a good point. I never knew anything about that. That's interesting. Are there any trends in colors? You mentioned about 15 years ago something teal. Is there anything now that
A natural fancy color diamond in any color is going to be very popular. Pinks, yellows are probably the two most prominent. We do hear about the brown diamonds. A lot of those are irradiated, but you can get a really deep, rich, natural brown diamond if you want to, and they're gorgeous.
Nice.
We actually sold one. It was stunning.
it's like a chocolate drop,
right.
in your hand?
Exactly.
Oh, very nice.
Yep.
So let's go to clarity now. What is clarity, and what's the best clarity?
Clarity is the cleanliness of the stone when you look at it. Top clarity is flawless, which means that under 10 power magnification, which is how diamonds are graded, you're not going to see anything inside the stone or outside the stone. Nothing. It's going to look perfect. When you have internally flawless, you might have a little chip or something on the outside, minute, but still nothing on the inside. And then it goes down from there. We have VVS 1 and 2, VS 1 and 2, SI 1 and 2, and then we get into the imperfect stones, I 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, okay. So a jeweler is going to grade these stones based on the little imperfections.
Yes, yeah, a gemologist.
The gemologist
Yes, yep.
does. Yeah, big
Yep.
difference.
Yes.
So what about, we talked the other day about something about fillers, and I made a note to say be sure to tell your jeweler if you've had a stone that's filled, and I might have written the wrong
No,
word
you're
down,
right.
but what is that about?
It's fracture filling. Some diamonds will have just a lot of natural inclusions, and they might even have one that comes to the surface of the stone. If it comes to the surface of the stone and it goes down inside, when you look at it, without the filling, it might look shattered.
So it's like a little fracture.
It's a little fracture, and it goes into the stone. What they do is they actually impregnate that stone with a filler so that when it's set, when you look at that stone, it looks several clarity grades better.
And is that something?
And you won't see it with your naked eye.
And is that also something that if you were going to later have the stone set in another setting or something like that, you want to be sure to tell your jeweler that the stone had been filled?
Even if you go to have it cleaned, you should tell your jeweler, because we routinely put things in the ultrasonic cleaner. It does a great job of cleaning the diamonds and the metals, but it can actually shake that filling loose.
Ooh.
And which is not a good thing. Then it has
Good
to
to
be
know.
sent out and refilled again.
Yeah, okay.
So-
Yeah, I'm getting all kinds of education tonight here. Carat weight. I think this is the one that most people know about. Carat weight. So I know that it has a huge bearing on the cost,
Yes.
but tell me more.
Carat weight, well, 1 carat diamond is going to be much more expensive than a 95-point diamond, which means it's only 5 points smaller than that 1 carat, but they call them magic sizes. As soon as you hit that plateau, the price per carat jumps up substantially. So a cutter, when they're looking at a piece of rough, is going to try very hard to get that to 1 carat. They're not going to shoot for a 95-point ideal cut diamond. They're going to go for the 1 carat.
Okay. So,
Every time,
so there's almost like
if they can.
a competition or something, or there's certainly a skill level, obviously.
Yes.
But is there some kind of competition among diamond cutters? Like, I can get that to 100 points?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
Yep, I don't do that, but I'm sure there is.
And speaking of the whole idea of carats, and that gets into that other sea of cost.
Yes.
That years ago, it used to be that there was a recommended formula if you were buying an engagement ring. Talk about that and how that has or has not changed.
Maybe, again, 10, 15 years ago, you typically saw the advertisements, the De Beers advertisements, saying that 2 months' salary is 2 months' salary enough to express forever. Well, the economy changed. We had the recession, and people don't necessarily go by that formula anymore. They really can't. We just try to tell people, spend what you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Don't just go for a nice stone in a nice mounting, and she's going to love it.
And don't go with the formula.
Don't go with the formula. It doesn't make
that's
sense.
Good advice.
Yeah.
What about something other than a diamond? Are there other stones? Because you mentioned at the very, very beginning that as a gemologist, you work with diamonds, but also colored stones.
Yes.
So is there a good alternative to a diamond?
One of the best alternatives to a diamond is a sapphire, because sapphire is number 9 on the hardness scale. Diamond is a 10. You can't. The only thing that can scratch a diamond is another diamond. It's the hardest substance known to man. Sapphires can be scratched by something else, but it's going to be much better than a pearl or an emerald or a tanzanite. It's going to be much more durable.
All right.
So and sapphires come in a range of different colors, from blue all the way down to yellow, basically the spectrum. Rubies are actually red sapphires. They're both corundum. So ruby would be a fine alternative also. You could do that.
Anybody wearing sapphires in the news?
Yes.
Yes.
Kate Middleton.
Yeah.
Yes, yep. She's wearing Princess Diana's original engagement ring. Yeah.
And that was a blue sapphire.
That was a blue sapphire surrounded by diamonds.
So is there anything in terms of the blue, like is there like gradings of blue or deeper or lighter, or does that make any difference?
It does make a difference. You don't want to go with a blue that is almost black.
Okay.
It's not a good quality. It almost looks like black onyx when it
won't even
gets
see
that
the
deep.
blue then.
You won't even see the blue. So you want something that's a nice blue. Actually, you have that cobalt. That's a great color for a sapphire. That'd be very nice.
All I need is a sapphire to complete my outfit.
That's right. You'd be perfect.
That's right. There we go. What about, I know you brought some rings for us tonight, and there's a set of women's rings that I want to focus on, because I want to ask you about people, do you find sometimes somebody coming in and wanting to trade up and say, we started off, I had a small ring, and now I want a bigger ring, or the husband comes in, I want to get my wife a bigger ring. Talk to me about that. Do people do that, and what do they do?
For the most part, we find that men like to come in and say, I'd like to get my wife a bigger diamond. They didn't have a lot of money back when they first got engaged. Things are a little bit better now. They'd like to to show her how much they appreciate that. So they generally are the ones who come in and ask to upgrade their diamonds in an engagement ring.
Oh.
So, and a lot of times women don't want to part with that. So what we'll do is we can even do a 3-stone where we have a larger diamond in the center. We take her smaller diamond on one side, match it up with another diamond on the other side.
And we
set
do
it in a 3-stone.
And
mount.
we have these gorgeous rings sitting right here, and I know one of those rings has a sample. Let's see.
The 3-stone is going to be right there. There's your 3-stone. So you have the bigger diamond in the center, 2 smaller on the outside.
Okay.
And you can do that with any size stones. Size stones. They, that center is much larger, but you can actually have the 2 side stones a little bit bigger too, and it will still look gorgeous.
Okay, so it is just that idea that you can take your one stone and add another of the same size, and then add a third, and then you still keep the original stone.
Right.
And then, but you have an updated, bigger ring.
Right.
So now I have to tell you, Jackie, I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Zita TV. So if you go on Zita TV, you're going to see where I asked some of the people who have friended the page, I asked them to talk about engagement rings, wedding rings, if you had a small stone to begin with, and you had the opportunity later to trade it in, to trade it up, to sell it, to somehow make this change, what would you do? And I got 3 responses I wanted to share with the readers. First, from Christina Collette in New Jersey. She said, my wedding ring is an heirloom, but the ring that I bought my husband was from a site that uses metals from eco-friendly sources. That was important to me. And I thought, eco-friendly sources? Okay, so do we have eco-friendly sources in the United States?
Yes, we do. As far as gold goes, and silver,
Yeah.
when they go in to mine those metals, when the miners are done, they have to put the property back to the way that it was. So that
Okay.
is very important, yes, yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yep.
I got another response from Rebecca Borello from Ohio, and she said, I love my engagement ring, which has a sapphire with diamond chips. I wouldn't trade it for Queen Elizabeth's crown. I think
Smart
that's
girl.
a smart girl,
Yes.
yeah. There's certainly a sentiment to the ring, even if it's just little chips. I mean, you remember the time and what was going on in your lives, and that commitment to work together and build your future, and starting small and knowing that things are going to be so much different down the line. How could you possibly part with something like that?
Exactly, and most women don't want to part with it. They really don't.
If they didn't want to do a ring, though, might they do like a pendant or a bracelet or a pin or something like that?
A lot of times they do that. Yes, they will put it into a pendant afterwards. And actually, my husband gave me a larger diamond for our 25th anniversary, and we gave my original diamond to our daughter for her 21st birthday in a ring.
Beautiful. So it was still in the family.
Still in the family. She's
Yeah.
going to get it anyway.
Yeah,
So
very
just gave it
nice.
to her a little bit early.
Very, very nice. And then I had a third one. This was from Lorene Walker in South Dakota. And Lorene said, my wedding ring is yellow gold. I would never exchange it for a bigger stone, but I would not turn down an anniversary ring. Lorene's a smart woman.
I was another smart woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the anniversary ring, is that a pretty popular thing now?
Yes, yes, still very popular. And a lot of women will wear 3 rings. They'll have their wedding band, their engagement ring, and then the anniversary ring on top of that.
I was just going to ask you, where do you wear it? Because do you look like how many empty fingers do
Yeah.
you fill?
Yeah.
But you can fit them all together.
Oh, yep, and actually, a lot of women are wearing stackable rings now. This is a new trend,
Oh.
not popular here, but they get a thin band with a diamond, and for their children,
Oh.
and they kind of stack them up that way
Oh,
too.
what a lovely idea.
Yep.
Well, those were 3 from the conversation on Facebook. I do want to invite you to join the conversation on Facebook, because I will let you know who the upcoming guests are, and it certainly does help me to ask the right questions, because I want to ask the questions that you want answered. So this works out well, and getting some questions for knowing that you were going to be on the show tonight.
Perfect.
I want to talk about alternative metals,
Yes.
because when we did the pre-show interview, and you were telling me about, I'm thinking white gold, yellow gold, platinum.
Yes.
That's not all.
No.
What's out there now?
A lot of people, mostly men, not women, are wearing titanium, which is very lightweight, still very durable. cobalt chrome, and I have some rings here that are
yeah.
cobalt chrome.
Let's look at those 3 rings. So the one on the top, what is that?
That's cobalt chrome.
Cobalt chrome. And the middle one?
Is 14 karat white gold.
Okay, and the bottom one?
Is cobalt chrome again. So you can see that the 2 on the top and the bottom are a little bit more rugged, a little bit more industrial in style. The 14 karat gold is a little bit more elegant, I would say.
And when you're looking at metals like this, you used the word rugged a minute ago. Is that a style that is the style of rugged something popular as opposed to, elegant or dainty or something? But for men, a rugged style. Because I think about all of these reality television shows where people are, mining and they're doing all kinds of rough and tough work, and you want that ring to have that rugged look.
Exactly, and they don't damage. They will not sustain the damage that a gold ring would. Gold is soft. 14 karat gold is soft.
Yeah.
The beauty of 14 karat gold is you can polish it and it brings it back to its original beauty. These rings you really can't polish.
Oh, okay. So I would think that a ring like that, maybe the wearing of it is part of the beauty.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, I know with 14 karat gold, if you have a situation where your ring has to be cut off.
Yes. If it's too tight or if you injure your hand, get stung by a bee, you can cut it off. Yes.
Yeah. What about the alternative metals?
Very difficult to remove. Some of them are very difficult to remove. The cobalt chrome can be cut off, but you need a cutter with a diamond wheel, high speed, so it takes more effort. You can't go into every jeweler and have them just cut it off. Ceramic bands and other types of bands actually have to be broken off either in a vise, so you have to trust that person, put your hand in a vise,
my gosh.
crank that and until it breaks, and then you can take it off. It'll usually come off in about 3 pieces, 3 or 4
Jacki,
pieces.
just the thought. I don't know. I just want to stick with gold.
Yeah,
I think, but,
yep.
But I get it. It's something new. It's something different.
Exactly. And it can't be sized. That's one thing people have to keep in mind. They cannot be sized.
So if your size of your finger changes,
Then
you're stuck with it.
you're stuck with that ring. Or the manufacturer will exchange it one time for size. There are manufacturers who will do that for you.
Oh, okay.
So something to keep in mind.
What about caring for your ring? I mean, you invest a lot of money, get this gorgeous ring. What's a recommended care?
I always tell people, put it in jewelry cleaner at least once a week. And it's a little bottle. I meant to bring one. I'm sorry, I forgot. But drop it in there, let it sit for 5 minutes, take it over to the sink, put the stopper in the sink, take your little brush it up, rinse it off. That's going to get most of the soap off, which is really nice. Every 4 to 6 months, starting from when you get the ring, if you go to your jeweler, have them just inspect the prongs. They'll be happy to put it in the ultrasonic, steam it. Generally, there's no cost to do that, and then you catch problems before they become big and you lose your ring, you lose your stone. Which
People have lost their stone.
Oh yeah, we do that quite frequently.
Do you find any horror stories with like ring bearers at a wedding and the little rings fall off, or other horror stories?
Not so much the ring bearers. I've never heard that, but we have had grooms who come in after the honeymoon and they've lost their rings.
How? How could they lose their ring?
They're not used to wearing a ring, so we give them the ring size, and it's like, okay, what do you think? How does this feel? And they're like, oh, that feels good. Goes on and off very easily.
Not what you want.
You don't want that. You want a little bit of resistance going over your knuckle.
So your knuckle is like your gatekeeper.
Yes, exactly. Yep, it's your security right there. So we've had people lose them in the ocean, down like off a mountain. So you do want to listen to your jeweler when it comes time to buy a ring if you're not used to wearing one.
Oh, gosh, good point. What about everyday household utilities? I'm doing the laundry. I'm putting laundry detergent in. I've got bleach. I'm scrubbing the floor. Anything to be wary of? Can I keep wearing my ring at the time?
Bleach is a real problem for gold.
Oh, okay.
Because 14 karat gold is 14 parts gold, 10 parts other metals. The bleach is not going to react with the gold, but it will react with the other metals.
Oh.
So it actually deteriorates it. If you're frequently in a public pool that uses chlorine or a hot tub, anything like that, you should always take off your rings. A necklace,
Oh my.
anything like that, yes. It's very important. We've seen that the gold gets pitted and the prongs just break right off.
Oh my gosh.
So-
they had no idea.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Jacki.
Very scary.
So when a couple comes in and they want to buy a ring, I'm looking at the role of the jeweler. One of the things I think about is you talk to the couple and it's like, well, what's your lifestyle, or but what kind of questions do you ask to determine what's a good style of ring for someone?
We always, a lot of times the groom to be will come in by himself, and he kind of knows what she wants. Either she's steered him in a certain direction. I want something with a halo, which is a lot of little diamonds around a center stone. If that's what she wants, and he's almost always going to get that. We do ask how big is her hand. We need to know their finger size. It's also very important.
Do most guys know?
No, they don't.
So what do you do?
Well, we say, well, is it kind of close to mine? And they're like, I don't know. They really don't. They just love the woman. They don't worry about the size of their hands. Yeah. So we basically, if they don't know what they want, we recommend a very simple mounting of 6-prong solitaire. If she doesn't like that, she can always come back and get something else.
And just keep the same diamond, but
Same
put it
diamond,
into a different
but put
setting.
it into a different setting. Exactly.
Right. You mentioned
Yes.
just a minute ago this halo thing. What is that? I'm not familiar with that. What's that? The halo?
If
Was there
you-
one? I think we had in the rings up here, right? The
Right.
rings.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's take another look at those, and we'll get those rings up here. And one of them is called a
one
halo.
right here. You have the center stone, and then you have a lot of little stones all the way around it.
Okay, so there's the center stone and a bunch of little tiny ones.
All the way
So-
around it. That's a halo. It basically takes a smaller stone and makes it look bigger.
All right.
Which is
So I
great.
can see that being a good thing, but
Yeah.
but I would wonder though, that's a lot of little.
It's a lot
Prongs
of
to
little
keep track
diamonds,
of.
right, a lot of small stones being held by tiny prongs. If you have a ring like that, you just want to make sure that you have it checked frequently. And if you hit it, always take it to your jeweler right away so they can check it, just to make sure that everything's tight and secure.
Okay. Insurance.
Always a good idea to insure your
Yeah.
ring. And it
Starting when?
right away, as soon as you get it. As soon as you get it, get that insurance. We recommend Jewelers Mutual Insurance Company because they will allow you to go to any jeweler of your choice
Good idea.
to replace your stone or your ring. A lot of insurance companies want you to use their jeweler.
All right, Jackie. This was so much wonderful, useful information. I can't thank you enough. And unfortunately, we're out of time. So maybe we'll have you back sometime and talk about bridesmaid jewelry for bridal gifts and stuff like that.
Love it.
So I do want to thank you very much, Jacki Friedrich from Friedrich Jewelers in Vernon, Connecticut. And I also want to thank the crew for being so helpful tonight on the show. And I want to thank you in the viewing audience. Please join us again for more advice from the wedding experts. And in the meantime, you know what they say about love. So go make the world go round.
Are you planning a wedding or renewing your vows? Let today's leading wedding vendors inspire and guide you. To learn about upcoming guests and join the discussion, like us on Facebook, Zita TV. Weddings with Zita is a program of Moon River Rituals. For more information, visit zitatv.com.